Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, this is HeroQuest, and it's time once again for HeroQuest, the series where I try to show you a product, but the blinding light from my ill-placed light and camera placement is all you see, resulting in blindness for the both of us. How immersive? It's like you're actually here. No, it is time for add-on scenery for RPG battle maps, a curiously named line of products from Loke battle mats. This is Magic Effects, a pack of 60 plus reusable static clings for use on any laminated surface. Attention adventurers! These reusable magic decals will keep your party rolling through any and every encounter, as your effects can be added or removed in seconds. These static clings will work on any laminated surface. We recommend Loke Battle Mats books of Battle Mats range. So, this is what you get if you order Magic Effects. And I want to say a very thank you to Tamsin over at Loki for sending me this, as well as a variety of other gifts, all of which I will cover in future videos right here on the channel. I'm not sponsored by Loki per se, these were intended to be gifts, so they won't necessarily have an effect on the outcome of my opinion of them, but I did want to make a video about them because I did have my eye on this set. I wasn't sure how these decals would work, but we're going to actually peel them and test them out today. So first things first, this is one of the most glossy and rattly bags. It's going to be noisy to open, so here we go. Yeah, due to the static involved, it's just easier to rip that bag away once you can get into it. And then you can keep this stuff cataloged in this way, together with future add-on scenery for RPG Battle Mats products. The backside of the cover doesn't have anything on it, but we are immediately given access to the static clings, and we are presented firstly with a giant energy blast. It's enormous. It is huge. We have lots of different spells being represented here. We've got this spell, which is straight out from the 60s, a lightning sphere, various fire blasts, and these don't have to be spells. These could be things that occur within dungeons as traps or the after effects of a trap being triggered. I know there's plenty of nozzles hidden in dungeon walls that will spit out bits of fire. We've got a ghostly horse, we've got a fiery skull, and we've got a fiery sword acting on its own. Who knows what's going on there? Perhaps it is traveling the dungeon halls looking for your party. Now, I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up or if the glare will help, actually. We do have a bit of an outline on all of these decals, and when I first saw that outline, I thought to myself, okay, so everything is just going to have a white area around it. When I peel these off, it's not going to be very usable. But that is not the case. The white that we are seeing is below the decal, and the area around the decal is completely transparent. So all of your decals are going to end up looking just the way that they should when you see them and you peel them off the surface. Now they go back on just fine, or you could keep them on your map for storage or as a sort of save method to show what traps have been triggered or what have you. The back has nothing, so we'll continue on. We have a huge cloud of darkness. This is probably my favorite decal already, because this can be removed and applied to any room on any laminated board or on the Loki books of battle mats, which we will test that fit out shortly. We've got different hands that kind of remind me of wall masters, a giant flying fist, a hand that could just be coming out of the wall to grab you, another shaped hand that could be doing the same thing or readying for a slap. We've got more spell effects going on here, and also circles that could be the effects of spells, but if you're not dealing with the spellcaster, these could lead into more problems, perhaps much bigger problems. We've got some themed spells as well. We've got magical candy sucker lollipop. We've got blazing hammer. We've got mystical sword, dark fire axe, vortex, a trident, and I can see this one having a lot of utility. It's 3 what could be green magic or perhaps poison energy clouds just traveling through the air. You could have these going across the room in a dungeon, or you could place them at the edge of a wall, and it's implied that the wall has a gas trap that has been triggered, sprung, and is now spewing gas into the room. On the next page, we have this huge triangular area of effect spell. We've got some cone-shaped spells. We've got spiked logs. I really like these because these are things that are set off and can actually move by swinging into place, by being released and rolling down inclines or declines, or they could just be set up as barricades. They have a lot of use already. Here's another symbol that could be summoning something horrible, such as this is the case with this one as well. And then we have a lot of webbing that we can place anywhere in any dungeon, and it'll work just fine as a horrible warning of the kind of arachnid monster that the heroes are about to face. The utility just doesn't let up. Now we have ice walls. They could be ice beams. They could be ice logs that get released or placed, as in the previous example with the spiked logs. We have an enormous, huge Enochian summoner sigil on the floor. We've got this pink explosion. We've got a lovely sphere of electrical or arcane power, a green key or perhaps poison cloud of power, another sigil, and two more things, one ice, one fire, perhaps, and two sections to each to show different attack patterns. You might have a monster that targets a hero and on its next turn attacks that space, but then also throws down an attack at the same time that affects every other space that it touches, or at least the majority of the spaces in the grid. And that tells your heroes that they have safe spaces that they can stand after they've been targeted to try to avoid the attack. That might be a very interesting fight. The very last page is blank. Oh no, it's just got its stuff on the opposite so you could get a bit of a preview. And here we have what's one of my favorite decals in the whole set, the octopus tentacles coming out of the nether region. That didn't sound right. We have a lightning blast that extends many feet across a hallway, through rooms, another summoning sigil, lots more power blasts, a cone of magic. And then we've got these things, which I think could be used to represent sort of like shield magic. You've got a fire shield or an ice shield, or perhaps this is just the color of the heroes and the enemy's shield magic, but it's something protective in my eyes. So let's get to peeling and let's get to placing. Now today, to demonstrate the static clingability and just the general appearance of the item on their own products, I'm going to be using Loki's Town and Taverns books of battle mats, and I'm going to be using models from OrcQuest Warpath. We're going to be using the Witch Hunter and Wizard models for this demonstration, as well as Orus, the barbarian of the group, who's outside taking on a couple of these war dogs by his lonesome. We're not worried about the outcome of the battle. We want to see what happens when Mandar throws spell after spell at this Knoll chieftain. And I mean, a lot of these spells are not present in the game at all. We're just taking advantage of the special Loki buff. So, firstly, we can set any of these down. The pink one here has some transparency to it, which is pretty nice because you can see through it to the floor, and it feels like it's something that is kind of incorporeal. It is something you can see through. I like that a lot, actually. I wasn't sure how that was going to look once I peeled it off of the white. So we get a better look at that. Again, there's not really a spell that matches this function in the actual game of OrcQuest, but what we are seeing here at least shows you the functionality of the spell, the decal. It stays on the board. It's not going to blow off. That is for sure. There is no way at all that's going to happen. It's going to stay. You can't push it off. It's stuck firmly in place because of the static cling. You can eventually grab it from the side to peel it right back up, and I'd probably try to grab it from the smallest point possible. So eventually, once you do it enough times over time, if there's any wear to the very tip of the static material, at least it'll be in a place that's not so visible. Just maybe something to think about when you're placing these down. Taking some of these off of their sheets can be problematic. You might end up getting more than you bargained for and start taking parts of the sheet with you. There is a sweet spot and you will find it, even if it is proving to be very difficult for me. There we go, finally. We can peel off the larger ones, and then I told you that there was something going on in this room. You didn't believe me, but now the ritual is complete. And oh my god, it's not until I laid this down that I noticed that behind it looks like a giant mouth full of teeth. Is that intended? That's not part of the static cling. No, they're just rocks. They're just rocks that go around this log that's completely blazed. But when you set this down, it kind of has that horrifying effect of looking like a mouth emerging from the void. So, hey, that's an unintended side effect that I think works out in the favor of both of these products together. So just as a general tip, if you're trying to peel these off and having trouble, I would not bend the paper in any way. I would keep it as straight as possible and just run a nail repeatedly over where you feel the gap and the resistance between where the cutoff in the sheet is and where the decal begins, and eventually you'll get it. And the second, third, and fourth, and onward times you have to peel this off, it won't be a big deal at all. They go right back, more or less, on their original positions again for easy storage, easy putting all this stuff away. The very next time, it'll just come right off. Our heroes have entered a graveyard, and wouldn't you know it, after our fool, Oris, steps on a triggering trap, a giant darkness gas cloud emerges, covering every single square with obscurity. That looks really cool. I didn't know that we'd have a bit of transparency. I knew that we'd have it around the edges, and obviously where anything was meant to have transparency, because just full-on transparency, I didn't know we would have partial transparency. This looks really, really cool underneath the gas cloud. I don't know that I can convey how much of the scene you can see. Yeah, there, the brick right under the cloud. That looks really cool to me. I really like that. Unfortunately now, your heroes won't be able to step onto it without breaking a little bit of the immersion, but if they do step onto it, you can say that their sight is hindered, or that they are now hidden, if this is supposed to be a spell that helps them. And this isn't OrcQuest specific at all. This is just something that you can think about when you're designing your own spells, although there is a smoke bomb in OrcQuest. Now, I want you to be careful, Oris. There are traps on the floor of this place, and they could prove to be dangerous.
Oris see treasure. Oris take.
Click. Oris, you fool. What have you done? Self-destruction in 3, 2... Like the video if you'd like to see more stop-motion antics. That wasn't really stop-motion. It was just kind of an amalgamation of crap. Anyway, I really like the huge explosion, and now if I wanted to leave that there, I could just turn the page and you can see it stays right on the book, stays right on the page when I open it back up. You don't even have to store these. You could just take them all off, decorate your maps, and then store your map. How wicked and awesome is the octopus coming out of the depths of the water. And like the glossiness of the book map itself makes this look kind of really cool. There's a little bit of light aberration going on in the transparent decal that really adds to the etherealness of the monster emerging from the depths, I think. Perhaps I'm getting a little bit too wrapped up in the details, but the point is, it looks really cool on the map. And that's all I could ask for. So that's a bit of a preview of the magic effects of the add-on scenery for RPG battle maps. I have a few more of these to show off. I hope that you'll like the video to show that you like this sort of thing and that you'd like to see the other ones and are looking forward to seeing them. And as always, I thank you very much for watching. Comment anything you like down below. Another huge thank you to Tamsin over at Loki for sending me these very kind gifts, and I'll see you all in the next video. Till then, have a great rest of your day, and bye for now.